District, past and present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends, helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's Cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chatroom applauses. History aside. Local pauses. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den, here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know it, keep it HDPP.
And here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hinckley District, past and present live Sunday evening. We're getting close to the big day now, folks. And as you can see behind, yes, I know, you're cheering for it. Even got the Christmas tree up in the background. Welcome to the programme, as always, for a Sunday evening. How are you this evening? Once again, plenty of people in our chat room. If you're already watching on YouTube and stuff, and keep the chat room on. Always fun to see what's going in there. We'll give you all a shout out in just a few moments' time in the programme this evening. Another chance to have a look at what we've got in our prize draw. There's only a couple of weeks left of the prize draw, so make sure you get your tickets because they're going well. We're doing good, guys. We've got a nosy coming up tonight, and a few bits and bobs, a great 6 of the best as well. All that to come between now and before the final episode of Wolf Hall, Carol. I am where it's got here. Don't overrun Paul, because Wolf Hall. So we're doing that. And of course, it's the final of I'm a Celebrity tonight as well. So we'll be looking at that after I close this lot down. I don't know about you, but what Sue and I tend to do, we record it and then watch it sort of 20 minutes after it starts, by which time we've got it down to a fine art where we can zap through the adverts when the advert breaks come, and then we catch up right at the end live. Bit of an art there, bit of an art. Right, okay, over into the chat room we go. First person through the doors was Mr. Smugley. Good evening, John. He was the first one in. Quickly followed by Mrs. Smugley, wishing everybody a good evening, of course. Annabelle's here. Our dolly dealer for Wednesday night. If you're coming to the Tarty on Wednesday night, I've got a dolly dealer. We're going to have some fun on Wednesday night, and I'm quite confident it's going to be pretty well full. So please come along, get your seats early, because our singer Julie will be there singing for us, and so we're going to have some fun as well as the night goes on, including the 12 days of Christmas. I know. Anne Hunt is here from a battered whirl. Yes, blimey. Weren't it blooming rough? Blimey. We keep getting these storms these days. I don't know. Seem to have more of them. I don't know how true that is or not. But anyway, Anne, glad you're safe there. Queen Bee is with us this evening as well. Tuned in nice and early. The Starboroughs are here. So all is well in the world. Dave B is here with a good evening, HDPP. And Jeff Wallace says, good evening, Paul and Sue. Hello, Jeff in Brig, Anna in Hinckley. She's back from her cruise, I gather. Back from her cruise. Lovely. Granddad's here as well. Steve Gardner down on the farm tonight. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. Jennifer Richardson. Hi, Jennifer. Glad you're here again. I know you've been enjoying the programmes. Daniel Coburn, the man that treks all the way down from up north to be with us on our social nights. Maybe with us on this Wednesday. I don't know, but it's going to be a good party anyway. Dangerous Denny's here again, of course, keeping court down there in... just off Dean Road West, you know. And Mrs. Poldark's here. Mrs. Poldark. Wonderful. Glad you're with us tonight. And Gary Bentley, bonjour. I see you've opened up that church over your... No, actually, Notre Dame really it does look absolutely superb. See, that was all opened up. Well, I declare this up. And then he got the big rod on the door. You know the door, that business, yeah. Great stuff. Alan Slater from Auckland in New Zealand, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. So I've had to reply to that, say, season's bleatings there. New Zealand bleating. You probably didn't get it. Anyway, also, yes, Jan Kirby's here as well. She can't wait to do 5 gold rings. Well, we never know who's going to get it, you see. We just dish them out randomly. So that'll be interesting on the night when we do the 12 days of Christmas. Right, I promise I'm going to keep things moving tonight. Try not to go on too much. So let's have a quick look at the... Firstly, at the prize draw stuff, here we go. As I say, if you haven't got your tickets, we will have them on sale at our Christmas party on Wednesday night. And there's some super prizes, as you will see, as we quickly go through them. Only going to go through them once this evening, though. 4 books by local author Bob Bennett. This is Gordon Bennett's brother, by the way. Thought I'd run that one in. This features local place names, etc. So it is local based. Book, so you probably enjoy a little bit of that, a little bit of fiction there. The hardback book of Birds of Southwest Leicestershire. This is a super little book donated by A.D. Baker, one of our members. Thank you, A.D., for this. That's going to be a super book for somebody if you like your birds. Absolutely you do. Here's a nice Quiet Sky, it's called. It's a crochet blanket designed by Anita Gibney there. Absolutely beautiful. And our russet knitted that all herself, or crocheted it all herself. If you need a radio out in the shed or somewhere in the kitchen, this would be a great little thing. A DAB digital FM radio. Superb it is. And the Flying Scotsman charging through Hinckley railway station, kindly donated by Hinckley and Burbage Photograph. Great jigsaw there. And this is a plate collection, but I have to stress, this is not the same plate collection as we had previous year. This is a totally different set. Really nice. It's got an authenticity certificate. Try say authenticity certificate. Try saying that a few times. This is number 3 of 200. They are great. They really are super. That could be your prize as well. A printed canvas of Hollycroft Park. It's a winter scene. Yes, with the frost down, a real super picture there. That's been donated to us. And if that made you feel cold, well, this lady's scarf is luxurious. It's a frost scarf, apparently. A lady's scarf. Be really nice there. Now, here's another book, The Lady of North Lodge by Lisa Talbot. And it features local places and indeed Ada Lovelace. Indeed is featured in this particular one as well. All the action takes place around Kirkby Mallory. Great little story there. Well, your Christmas would come. Well, you've got to have candles, can't you? You just got to have some Yankee candles here to set fire to, just when it pleases you, basically. Hinckley and Burbage Photograph donated this wonderful colour print picture of the Northern Lights over Hollycroft Park earlier on in the year. Just needs a frame to go in. If you like your jigsaws, as Mike Kirby does, apparently, he would like this Highway Hold Up. It's a 1,000-piece jigsaw. Comedy novelty jigsaw could be yours. And Kevin Beasley donated this picture from his dad. Lovely. It's You can see what it is straight away. It's Stockwell Head, how it once looked when the Half Moon pub was there. And it's framed, it's ready to go onto your wall. I think that's a super picture. It really, really is. And it could be yours. Here's a lady's a fancy scarf, really. It's a anyway, it's a posh little scarf, for ladies' hats and ladies' coats and stuff. If you remember the Peregrine Falcons all over Hinckley earlier on in the year, well, here's a picture of one of them from St Mary's Church. It's a great print. Just needs a picture frame, I say. And if you like your music, well, here's a record player. Just put your old vinyl on there, and it's just like going back to the 60s and 70s. A great little gift, that one is. Another one of Russett's creations, designed by Anita Gibney. This is called the Gifts of Christmas. It's really nice, beautiful, and once again, it would adorn anybody's Christmas presents this year. Burbage Winter Evening, a jigsaw from Hinckley and Burbage Photograph. Thank you very much, Paul, for that. That's very seasonal this time of year, absolutely. If you like your whiskey, we've got a Singleton, not a Valerie Singleton, you understand. This is just 12 years old. Yeah, a lot younger too. That's a great prize. And we have £50 second prize, which has been donated by MI Installations of Hinckley. We thank them very much. So 50 quid. Or, indeed, our top prize, £100 cash first prize, could be yours. And here's how you can get in there. We're going to do the draw on the Sunday the 29th of December. We'll just have a live stream just for the prize draw. That's all we'll do. Because you lot will all be too busy celebrating and stuff. Now, the tickets are £1 each. So just think, for £1, you could win £100. It really is as easy as that. So, but as you know, the more tickets you have, the more chance you've got of winning. Anyway, there you are. Our social nights, Christmas party, obviously coming up on the 11th is your next chance to get the tickets. And there's all the details you will need. We will also have the tickets with us on our final scanning session of the year at St Mary's Church just before Christmas. So that'll be your last chance. We'll get them all done up. Mrs G will get it all sorted out for us, and we will indeed be doing that on the 29th. Good, grand stuff. That's about one of the last times I shall have to do this. A couple more times, all be done. So there you go. That is our prize draw for this evening. Are you ready for 6 of the best? Corey's on fire tonight. What's he been drinking? No. Just thought, no, get on with it tonight. Don't rabbit on so much. So, if you got your pens and paper ready, are you ready for 6 of the best? Now, remember, I've just felt a smug wave. John, we're not even started yet, so you can't say you got the anagram. No, I just felt a smug wave come over. Don't put your answers in the chat room, because people nick them and then pass them off as their own, you know. They really, really do. So, with that in mind, let us now do 6 of the very best. Here we go. Oh, we start with question 1, which is a good one. A nice easy one to start with. Electricity came to Hinckley in what year? Was it 1908, 1910 or 1912? We talked about it last week. Were you paying attention? Now you wished you had, didn't you? See, too busy talking at the back there. Too much talking at the back. No one's paying attention. We gave the answer away last week. Was you paying attention? Mr. Smugly will know that. Well, yeah, I can just feel it even now. A bright light came on, and it would do being electric. Right, question 2. Now, try and do these without looking on Google and places like that. What does the Beaufort scale measure? I thought I liked that question. We'll do that. What does the Beaufort scale measure? You know, you've got the Richter scale and all that lot. Well, this is another scale, the Beaufort scale, but what does it measure exactly? That's what we want to know. Now try and do that Google. Get the extra smug points. Get those extra smug points. Question number 3, find the words. Right, okay, don't worry, I'm going to show this on the screen in a few minutes' time. This is a classic film. A classic film. You will know it, I promise it, you will know it. But don't worry, I'm going to put this back on the screen in a couple of moments' time so you can get all the dashes in the right place and then you can work upon it. Right, okay. Number 4. This is a cryptic clue to the actor I'm looking for. It's a cryptic clue for the actor I'm looking for. Is it a bird? Was it a plane? He played many roles, including a cage bird lover. This Hollywood legend. His career took off in 1948. It's all cryptic clues in there. Can you get it? We'll come back to that in just a moment. True or false double negatives in a sentence create a positive meaning. Is that true? Or is it a load of old baloney? I don't know, but we'll find out by the end of the programme. Question 6. Burying moonlight's polluters. That's what I say to anybody that comes up to me and asks me any questions. Yeah, this is an area just outside of Hinckley. It is. I think we've had it before, you know. Let's see if you can work it out. It's an area outside of Hinckley, so it's not in the town, it's just outside of Hinckley, and it's an area. That's all I'm going to say for now. See what you can work out from that, and I might give you extra clues later on if it so gets me to do that. Right, one more time, through the questions, one more time. Electricity came to Hinckley in what year? And one of them is the correct answer, of course. Question number 2, what does the Beaufort scale measure? And I see that Carol says, I know number 2. Keep it to yourself. Oh, and she knows number 3 too. Carol's on a roll tonight. Wow. Okay, question 3. Now this, I'll just leave it on the screen for a few moments' time. So just so you can get your dashes in the right place. Like I say, it's a classic. It's an all-time classic film. Simple as that. I don't need to say too much because I don't want to give it away. But you know it. I promise you, you know it. Right, okay. Delighted the Crops could finally join us this evening. Welcome, welcome Crops. Glad you're here this evening. There we go. So there's your find the words. Question number 4. Cryptic clues to guess the actor. Is it a bird? Was it a plane? He played many roles, including a caged bird lover. This Hollywood legend's career took off in 1948. If that doesn't give it away, I don't know what will. Jeff Wallace, I'm expecting you to get that one. Question number 5. True or false double negatives in a sentence create positive meaning. Is that true? Is it false? Is it a load of old baloney? Well, you'll find out a little bit later on question 6. Burying moonlight polluters. It's an area outside of Hinckley. Outside of Hinckley. I think we've done this before. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's see if you can come up with anywhere. It's an area. You know, like it's an open space area somewhere between Hinckley and heading east. I don't want to give too much away yet. Oh, dear. Anyway, good. Excellent. There we are. That's your 6 of the best. We'll come back very, very shortly. And we're, as we say in pantomime, we will have to do it again then, shan't we now? Just before we have our first feature this evening, which incidentally is going to be in 2 parts tonight because of time, because Carol wants me to make sure I'm finished in plenty of time before the final one of Wolf Hall. It must be the one where he gets his head lobbed off tonight. Carol, it's got to be, isn't it? I want to give a shout. My brother's probably not watching. My younger brother Mike, or Mick actually, he did a fantastic thing yesterday. He did a 12-hour non-stop darts marathon, raising funds for Macmillan. Absolutely incredible. And I went around a couple of times to see how he was getting on, and he's raised a lovely sum all on his Todd, thanks to his friends and stuff and people that went round to support him on the day. So even though I know he's not watching this, I'm going to say it out there anyway because I'm very proud of him. Anybody that does raising funds for anything off their own bat like that is well worthy of a mention. So I'm very proud of him. Well done, and looking forward to seeing the final total, which I know is probably going to be in excess of $2,000. That ain't bad for doing what he did. Just stood there all day going throwing darts. Now I can't do darts. Well, everybody needs to be well behind me by about 3/4 of a mile when I'm throwing darts, I tell you. But honestly, Mick's done really, really good, so well done. Okay then, right, so our first little feature tonight. Oh, by the way, I must tell you, I really, really must remind you, of course, Christmas Bash, which is here, say Wednesday night, of course, we'll all be there. Now, don't miss it, you're going to miss a great night. If you don't come, you'll be talked about for ages. We've got a great raffle on at the same time. Great singer on, and a little bit of we're going to have a game on stage. Me and my dolly dealer will be there as well. That will be on Wednesday night. I think it's going to be a full evening, so please come along. It's never a late evening. We've always liked to be done and dusted and back in bed for no later than about 9:45. Yeah, that's what you call a hell of a night there. So please come along. And a reminder, we're asking for your nominations. We've had a shed load of nominations already. We will certainly not be able to give everybody something this year. I can see by the nominations that have come in. But however, this is your privilege as an HDPP member to nominate a local good cause. And we'll consider them for a donation out of our kitty as usual, and we will present in February as normal. Okay. And a quick update on the Charlotte Brame story. That's coming along quite nicely, thanks to Eddie Smallwood, who made a very nice donation towards this cause, and we'll be updating you with that in the new year. But I told you it was going to happen. Trust me, this is going to happen. It's not going to get by me. I won't let Don't Like This get by me. So there we go. Good. Right. Okay then. Time to our first feature. One which we haven't shown for a little while, but worth a quick go. And we'll do this in two parts, part 1 and part 2. So we'll have part 2 next week. This one is one of Stuart Watson's films, but it's a nice one to watch. Again, it's called Hinckley's Changing Face.
Similar to most towns and cities, Hinckley has seen many changes of style and character over the centuries. Legend has it that in Saxon times, a certain gentleman with the name of Hinker settled within the lee of this area, and from this derived the combined name of Hinckley. Situated on the west end of the Leicester Forest, its pastures being used for grazing sheep and the consequent involvement of the wool industry and its associated markets helped to determine what has been a strong and thriving hosiery and knitwear industrialised community. The Church of St Mary's is probably the oldest remaining structure providing evidence of its long existence. Canon Brian Davies, now in his 13th year in office here in Hinckley, has survived much longer than many of his predecessors, as he so aptly records.
When I bring people into St Mary's and show them round, and we have lots of people here, and particularly young people and parties from school, I often bring them here and show them this list of vicars. And it goes right back. First of all, you can see my own name here. I came here in 1991. But if we go right back to the very first vicar, you've got Robert de Hinckley. At least it's the first recorded vicar here in 1220. That's roughly about the same date as the oldest part of this building. And if you follow the list of vicars through, you come to a very interesting dates here. You've got John Appleton of 1349, Robert Bick of Hinckley in 1349, Nicholas Voideer 1350, William Buke of Hinckley 1350. 4 priests in 2 years. And of course it's the time of the Black Death that ravaged Europe. And there's no way of knowing exactly, but historians believe at least a third of Europe was wiped out. And there is a point of history here in Hinckley.
Few towns or cities could lay claim to having had a wider variety of industrial and agricultural successes and failures. But many changes and fortunes have been made and lost en route through the years. Pleasures and riches for some, whilst many have suffered hardships not all of their own making, but all have been a changing scene within this West Leicestershire landscape, and a number of these changes have had sufficient significance to make them worthy of being recorded. So Hugh Bevan now reflects.
At the time of Doomsday in 1086, Hinckley was a small agricultural community, slightly larger than Birmingham at the time. Hinckley had some 250 people living here, mainly employed in agriculture. Within 100 years, there was a regular weekly market, and at a later stage, the local citizens bought up the market rights. Hinckley Castle was built probably in 1150 by Robert Bossu, a classic Motte and Bailey castle. Shortly afterwards, the Lord of Leicester was Simon de Montfort, and his coat of arms is the coat of arms of the borough today.
I'd now like to show you something else that I think is of real historical interest. Well, here we have the Hinckley Town Chest, and if we get down here and look, we can see Hinckley Town, spelled Towne, Chest, anno 1613, November the 4th. So this fine oak chest has been here since 1613. Some people feel that it may well be older. It looks older. It looks really ancient. Well, that may be because it was here during the Civil War. And during the Civil War, in 1644, there was a skirmish just outside Hinckley, and the Royalist soldiers brought their prisoners and actually put them here in the church. So any furniture, I imagine, wouldn't have been well treated by the soldiers and the prisoners. So it's possibly it got knocked about a bit then.
As Brian has earlier said, there was a small Civil War battle in Hinckley when prisoners who were held in the church were released by their parliamentarian colleagues. The battle involved something in the region of 450 men, and the total number who were casualties was about a dozen.
The market town flourished, and even Shakespeare had knowledge of its fame and refers to it in Henry IV Part 2, where Davy asked Justice Shallow, "Sir, do you mean to stop any of William's wages about the sack he lost the other day at Hinckley Fair?" However, I doubt if anyone could have visualised the significance to Hinckley when William Iliff during 1640 brought into the town its very first stocking knitting frame. He spent the enormous sum of £60 purchasing this new machine from William Lee in Calverton, Nottinghamshire, thus starting the cottage industry, which during the ensuing 200 years was to grow very rapidly. And here Tom Atkins tells of his ancestor Robert Atkins using his foresight and the subsequent family concern which flourished.
And in 1702, Robert Atkins was born into the family, and it was a large family, and of course there was difficulty finding a living for the number of children there were. I think there were 6 or 7 of them, and he understandably decided that he would make his own way and went off to London and apprenticed himself to the framework knitters in London. And in 1722, having done his apprenticeship, he came back to Hinckley, and he'd obviously been looking around and deciding where he would go with his knowledge of the industry that he'd gleaned in London. He decided he'd come back to Hinckley very wisely, I think, because he had seen how well the cottage industry was doing. He had seen that Lee's frame had been there for some 80 years or more, and he decided that since there was raw material in abundance in the wool from the sheep around, that he would get into Hinckley and he would carry on the hosiery trade in Hinckley. And as a matter of fact, I think when he arrived in Hinckley, there were somewhere in the region of 320 odd frames in the cottage industry in that area, and when he died, there were over 900. Yeah.
The coming of enclosure to Hinckley between 1759 and 1761 meant that fewer people were needed to work in the farms, and many more became full-time framework knitting families. Indeed, by 1815, it was estimated that some 10,000 people in the Hinckley area were employed in framework knitting, many of them working on government contracts to provide clothing for the forces. As many of the old farmyards became occupied by frame shops, there were the small jitties developed to join up the old yards with the main streets in the town. The jitty is a local name which has become a feature of Hinckley, and there are still many old jitties left in the town, probably somewhere between 40 and 50 today. The hosiery industry was a true domestic industry. involving men, women and children. The children wound the wool for their mothers, and the mother would spin the wool on a wheel rather like this. During the 1840s, poverty in the town was considerable. Mr. Eales, the local pawnbroker, said that he had some 700 to 800 women coming every Monday and Tuesday in order to pawn goods. That was at a time when the population was only about 6,000. He said that he would give women twopence to take the shoes off their feet in order that they'd have enough to buy a loaf of bread with which to feed. Relatively soon after the problems of the 1840s came the cotton famine of the 1860s, caused by the American Civil War. Once again, Hinckley became a poverty-stricken community. Indeed, about that time, the local cooperative society was formed to try and assist the poverty-stricken local people.
Initially, it was a home industry. All the knitting frames were operated from home. Some had 2 frames, 3 frames, or maybe 4. Some of the frames were operated in small adjoining buildings. And the biggest thing that came in was the circular knitting machine. These were initially hand-powered, but it was evident that they could be powered by steam. So in 1855, the first steam engines were introduced into the industry. This meant the commencement of the factory situation.
With the coming of the factories, Hinckley became a most prosperous town, but the wage rates for Hinckley workers were somewhat lower than those in Leicester. Many joined the trade unions in an effort to better their conditions, and in 1891 there was a 9-week strike. At the end of the strike, the employers gave 20 to 30% increases in wage rates, and harmony returned to the hosiery industry.
And numerous other factories were built around the town. A lot of the names came into Hinckley which were associated with the hosiery industry have long since gone, unfortunately. My grandfather bought an ex-1418 Nissen hut as such, and bought ground in Bond Street, which was previously the orchard to the manor house which was built there. I think in the early 20s Davis initially came into the town. Here again you see the Davis factory that is now B&Q. Within their premises there was a church, yes, a Wesleyan church actually, which was surrounded and taken over. Subsequently Bennett's, a very, very large factory along Station Road and close to the station, they started in hosiery. Bennett's in Rugby Road, they were in knitwear. We ourselves at one time owned Trojan Knitwear, which is just over the road from here, which is now Davenport Knitwear. Davenport being another family that was associated with the hosiery industry in this town. You get one of the oldest factories in town is Tansey's the Needle Factory. That obviously supplied needles into the industry. You had Sketchley Dye Works. One of their big things was to dye, which was known originally as Hawley's, of course. You get a lot of engineering companies, again, that are associated with the hosiery trade, allied to. When I first came into the industry, we used to send everything, not everything, quite a lot of it out in skips. Again, you would pay to the skip, you would pay the railway to take the skip to deliver it, and you also had a return system where they would come back and bring the skips back in again.
The early and middle parts of the 20th century became a real boomtown as a result of the success of the knitwear and hosiery industry.
This is where the sock industry had its strength, really. Halls were a big supplier into the military, and we ourselves in Bond Street Down, we supplied government, we did government contracts, and a lot of the stuff was made that way. In fact, more recently, strange to relate, in the Falkland situation, some of the soldiers out there were so cold that they were wearing tights, and we actually supplied them by the Falkland Island Trading Company.
When Hinckley was developing, new amenities for the local people became an important feature of the town, particularly as the result of the work of Mr. Featherstone, who was the local surveyor. The new developments included Hollycroft Park, which was opened for King George V's Jubilee, and the Hinckley Lido, where many people took advantage of a new sporting and leisure facility, which was waterborne. At the same time, the old slums in the town were the subject of an extensive renewal programme. Many of the old yards and jitties that had been a feature of the town for centuries were removed, and new council houses were built to accommodate those people who were to be rehoused.
And that's where we will stop it now, because we're going to have part 2 of that next week, because I'm doing on time tonight. So interesting stuff, as I say, a developing, changing face of Hinckley. And it's already interesting to look at some of the stuff they're putting out then and just think, well, that's gone now, that's going, and things like that, isn't it? When you start looking at how the town is today, because that particular film, I think, was made in the 1990s. So time's getting on, some 30 years ago. Anyway, let's say no more. Listen, how are you doing with 6 of the best this evening? I trust you're doing well. Dennis says he's got 6 answers. Whether they're the correct ones, we don't know. But we're going to go through 6 of the best. And also, Jan is asking for a clue on the anagram. I'm thinking. I'll see what we can do. Let's go through those questions one more time for you. Question number 1. What year did electricity come to Hinckley? What year was it indeed? One of them is, of course, the correct answer. Question number 2. What does the Beaufort scale measure? Didn't know that till the other day properly. You'll have the answer a little bit later on. Try and do it without looking at Google, please. Get that extra smug point. This is an all-time classic film. It was on the telly only a few weeks ago, actually. It's a classic film, and I don't want to say much more than that, but trust me, you've seen it. You would have seen it, absolutely, 100%. Right, question number 4. A very cryptic, I'm looking for an actor. Because, you see, John Denny doesn't do actors. I don't do actors. So this is all cryptic. Is it a bird? Was it a plane? Anyway, this Hollywood legend's career took off in 1948. You see, Jan Kirby said, I've got the film. Welcome to Carol Saccone. Welcome. You've just joined us in time. We're going through 6 of the best. Question number 5. True or false? Double negatives in a sentence create a positive meaning. Is that true? Is it false? Or is it a load of old baloney? Well, you might find out by the end of this particular programme. Now, bearing moonlight's polluters. You want a clue? Well, this is an area somewhere between Hinckley and Barwell, or Elmsthorpe, if you like. I don't want to say much more than that, really, because I think we've had it before. So, between Hinckley and Elmsthorpe, I'll give you that much. That's all I'm saying. And I think you already know it anyway, so you should know it by now. Good. Lovely. Now then, so that is where we is to so far. Dennis Perkins says, I attended Burbage Heritage Group's Burbage Christmases past. He said it was brilliant. And of course, the Burbage Heritage Group, who obviously concentrate mainly on Burbage, do some great events, and social nights and stuff, when they'll have a guest speaker and stuff. And next year's going to be no exception to us, because I'm desperately trying to find guest speakers. You'll be pleased to know that Eddie Smallwood will be returning in the new year. I think it's about April time when Eddie will come to us again and stuff. So, but we'll try and do it. And if there's anybody you've said, oh, they do a good talk, let me know, because if I can book them in, you haven't got to sit and listen to this silly old face all night long, have you? It's bad enough with the live streams, let alone it being live on a stage in our home of the Greyhound, is it? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Annabelle said, do I have to come out of retirement? No, you can stay retired for now. You are You're an actor that's resting, because they rest, Jennifer said, the anagram, I'm stuck. Yeah, well, as I say, it's an area between Hinckley and Elmsthorpe. We've had it before, and I don't really want to say too much more, because, I think you should get it, actually. Have a nose there. Have a good look round, see if you can find anything. If you play golf in particular, part of that figures. There you are. You see, Paul, stop giving it away. Stop it now. You know what you like when you give it away. Right. Talking of noses, we've got Mr. Nosy coming up in just a few moments' time with another nosy. Goodness knows where he is this time, but I know he'll keep us up to date with things. Just a quick reminder, as you can see on the screen, Hinckley and Bosworth 50 at the Atkins building all the way through this month till about the 5th of January. Well worth going to see. HDPP, we've supplied some old pictures and stuff. There's loads of stuff there. Well worth a visit. And the Atkins Gallery is open sort of 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30 at night. Go along, it's free admission. You can also have obviously a good look at the handsome cabinets in there. There's refreshments available on the cafe there, and it's a great little exhibition place. And as I say, we alongside other local groups have contributed to make it what I think is probably one of the best exhibitions they've actually done up there. But I'm biased, you see. So go along to the Atkins building anytime this week. If you're going into town, call in. They'd love to see you and see what we put our display boards up there. I know there's a motorbike in there. I know there's lots of different things that's up there. I don't want to spoil it. Well worth going up. Go, have a walk around, sit, have a cup of tea, come out. Wonderful stuff. There you go. Okay, then while you're wrestling on with that, by the way, I'm going to let you have your nosy now while I just go off and have a drink of water. So we're back shortly after this one. Steve, where are you today?
I know. I'll get up at 4:30 in the morning and go and dig up Derbyshire. Oh, I don't know. I love it. I do love it. Hello, hey up and hey diddling. My name is Steve, and once again, it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. I hope you are incredibly well wherever it is you reside on this rock we call home, the Earth. It's been a little while, isn't it? I've not made a video for a few weeks, and for those of you that have got 20/20 vision, well, to be fair, you don't need 20/20 vision, do you, to notice what I've got in my backpack? Because you can indeed see the handle of my mini shovel, and that does indeed mean we may be doing a bit of digging, which I tell you what isn't a bad idea today, because I'm in Derbyshire, you know, and it still is the summer. I think officially we've got 2 or 3 days left of the official British summertime. It took a long time to get here, didn't it, with all the bad weather we had. But welcome to Bradford Dale. Well, I tell a white lie, Bradford Dale is just a little bit round the corner. I think this is classed as Middleton Dale, because just behind the camera, up to hill, up there, is the village of Middleton. Now then, Bradford Dale, like all the dales in Derbyshire, underwent a little bit of industrialisation. Now we've come here today because we've got the remains of 2 really interesting water mills. The second one I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video is the reason why we've brought this little shovel with us today, because we've got a bit of digging to do. This is the 3rd time I've been to Bradford Dale. At the previous 2 experiences I had here, I kept thinking to myself, I've got to get up here and make myself a bit of a nosy and bring you all with me. Do you know what I mean? There's also a really interesting sheep wash down here. Yes, you did hear that correctly, sheep wash. Not in use anymore, of course, but I'll show you that shortly. Anyway, let's go on our nosy, shall we? Because it'd be extremely rude not to. But I tell you what, it is a bit chilly, but the sun is starting to rise. It's just after 7 AM in the morning, so. Right, so we're on his way to his first port of call, and it's really interesting here at the side of this footpath because you'll have to use your imagination. It's all overgrown, as you can see, but that there was once a substantial mill pond for the first mill. Now, this first mill was a bobbin mill that actually started life, I think, in the 1820s, around about 1822, I think. How do I know that? Because there's a useful information board over there. Now, by bobbin mill, oh, hold on a sec, look at this. So I've just walked over this, look. That is so old, that little bridge, you know. And it's bridging this. You've got an old spring here. It's a tad dry at the minute. Comes out of this limestone formation here. Fantastic. But, you know, bobbins then, meaning the bobbins that were actually used elsewhere in other mills, you know, in the manufacture of, you know, cotton and lace, etc. So, fascinating stuff. There aren't a lot of remains of it here now, but, you know, what there is interesting, and we can still get his teeth into it. I tell you what, it's an absolutely beautiful morning, albeit a bit chilly, as they say, but beautiful nonetheless. In fact, when the sun comes up above these limestone ridges here, it will be quite warm today. I don't think the fleece will be on for too long. Right, here we are. So here's his first mill then. So this is Middleton Mill, and this was the bobbin mill that I was telling you about. Now, on the information board to my left, I actually took a photograph from there when I got here. Now, that is the mill in all its glory back in the day. Now, to the left, as you can see, you've got that bit of a path next to that substantial mill pond. That is the path that we've just been walking on to get here. So you can see how this place has been taken over by nature, as per usual. It's amazing, isn't it, nature? You know, I absolutely love it. It completely defies mankind. Walking around another ghost of the past day. I mean, this wall is so old. If only it could talk. If only. Amazing, really. As you've seen on the photograph, it was a decent sized building, this was. So for me personally, the most exciting part of any mill is its actual wheel pit. And here it is, look, a decent sized one. Now, from what I've read on the information board, the wheel that was in here weighed around about 9 tonnes, which is quite substantial, isn't it, especially back in those times. But just down there, that archway there, that is the inlet for the water. Now, very interestingly so, that dry stone wall there, the other side of it, which is the public footpath, is actually, I think, an old coach road. This would have been a very busy route once. Well, it is now in 2024 with people's feet and dogs these days and the odd push bike. But that is actually the mill dam as well. And I do believe it to be a scheduled ancient monument, that dam. I think it's called Gooseholme Dam. But there would have been a sluice on the other side of there, one imagines. It's all very overgrown, as mentioned. But what's fascinating, you know, can we get a better angle with this wheel pit? I mean, you know, look at the outlet there. Now that the water would have scurried off down to the River Bradford, just down yonder. That's where we'll find our second mill today, over yonder, Evertott there. But just look at that keystone on there, look. Great bit of detail. See it protruding out there? Fantastic. You know, they didn't have to have a keystone like that. It would have been, you know, pretty much seldom seen, and I suppose the people that worked here wouldn't have been that interested really either, you know. But now just down there, look, you can see a cast iron pipe. So when milling ended here at this bobbin factory, it actually became repurposed as a pumping station to pump water from this point up to the village of Middleton, which sits quite high up actually. In fact, there used to be a castle in Middleton as well. I think partial ruins are still there. But this then, I suppose, theoretically, the old wheelhouse here became a bit of a sump and a pump fitted in there to pump water up, and that's what that cast iron pipe is that I showed you. That's part of the gubbins and the mechanism for that. But just down here, look, as you can see now, you've got these stone sets, I suppose we could call them, with actual nuts and bolts still on them attached. And you know, maybe this was added as part of the pumping operation here, or it's actually part of the old mill workings as well, which I like the idea of more actually. But Amazing, really. I mean, you know, I say this in every video that I make pretty much when we look at stuff like this. You know, these are heavy, really heavy. You know, this place is, it's not hostile. It would have been in the winter months, but to get equipment down here to a place like this with horse and carts would have been quite difficult. Then lifting them off horse and carts, then getting the machinery on top of it, you know, it would have been a big operation. I mean, it's so more straightforward this day and age, isn't it? They were just a different breed of people back then. They wouldn't have questioned it or moaned though, because it was just the norm to them, weren't it? You know, not like us now. We do the moaning on their behalf 200 years later because we appreciate how difficult of a task it must have been. Anyway, let's carry on with the exploration. So yet another very intriguing former mill site, and you know what I'm like, I love these places. The remains of them especially. To me, the more fascinating, the less intact they are. A bit strange, isn't it? But that's how I view it personally. But what I will add, what it does say on this information board, which you could say for every mill just about, is not only did women work here, as you'd expect, but a lot of children worked here as well. I mean, when you look at it now, I mean, you've seen what it looked like on the photograph. It was a substantial mill, to be fair, not the biggest of mills, but when you look at it now, it doesn't look much at all. You think, well, wasn't a very big mill, was it? But there would have been a decent number of people working here, and amongst that number of people were children. Now, I've got kids, you know, my son's nearly 18 and my daughter's nearly 15, but there would have been children younger than 15 working here, which is diabolical, really, isn't it, to even try and grasp that concept, because as much as I celebrate places like this and I find it fascinating, there would have been very harsh places to work, not only for adults, but, you know, to imagine kids working in there with the dust, the sweat, the long hours for working for peanuts and naff basically, would have been very harsh. Anyway, opposite the mill, there's something very interesting that I want to show you, and it's very overgrown, so probably not going to see a lot of it, but it is a fascinating thing. Say a nosy. Right, so just here, you've got this wall. That is the side of what I want to show you, although it's going to be very difficult to show you it because it's all overgrown. But before I show you that, I just want to show you this. This would have been the bypass for the mill. This would have gone round the mill pond. So, but just look at that, look. Got a little culvert there, look. All part of the mill workings. That disperses on the other side. You've got the mill to the left over there, and they could have bypassed the mill with the water, because of course you can't stop water flowing, it's got to go somewhere. You only store so much in your mill pond, don't you? Anyway, I digress. So that wall there, what's that all about then? Well, believe it or not, that is the side of a sheep wash. Now then, as you know, there are sheep everywhere in the Peak District. It doesn't matter where you look, there's a sheep. Telling fibs because, look, we can't see any sheep, can we? But you know what I'm trying to say. So this was it here. So the sheep used to go in here and they'd wash them. Now, of course, it's all overgrown. I'm not going to go in there because it's all wet at the minute because we've not had enough warmth from the sun. It's not risen properly yet. But there's the back end of it over there, look. I'll see if there's a photograph of it online, actually. But this sheep wash, believe it or not, was used up until the 1950s, which I find quite staggering, to be honest with you. You know, that's 70 years ago. Crazy, isn't it? But what they used to have to do, they used to have to wash the sheep before they sheared them, because they got all sorts of crap and mess in there and oils. And I did question, you know, when I first ever came here, it doesn't say this on the information board of this mill, but I thought that maybe that could have been a fulling mill at some point. Now, fulling was the process of getting all the oils and stuff out of the fleece, because, you know, sheep's wool was a very valuable commodity. I mean, well, it probably still is now. Maybe not as much as it was then. I'm not really sure, if I'm honest with you. Right then, so just here then, you've got the remains of the wheelwright shop down here at Middleton. They couldn't have just any old lintel above the door, could they? I mean, look at that. You wouldn't do it now, would you? Not really. I mean, you take into account load bearing and all that, but I mean, what would have been above there? Not much more. A lot of the heavy duty goings on here would have been inside the building, wouldn't it? You know, with a mecking of wheels and perhaps horseshoes. It does say Smithy on the old map, but maybe it's kind of classed as the same thing. There'd have been bending metal and what have you anyway to provide strength for the actual wheels and stuff, you imagine. So, but this is fantastic. A great delight, and of course, you know, just down here opposite the workshop would have been the mill, and it stood quite prominent. Now you're looking at a photograph now, yet again, that I took a photo of off the information board at the last mill, and it stood quite proud, this next mill did. Quite a substantial-ish building. I mean, you can't really make it out on camera, but there's a really good drop off here. In fact, we've got to make our way down there in a sec. I just want to show you the remains of this workshop. But it would have been substantial. Again, very difficult to build somewhere like this, out in a place like this. So I thought I'd seen something then, you know what I'm like. Show you this. So this old ruin of this workshop, you know, it would have been a very busy place, this would have been, one imagines. I mean, it's completely nothing like it was in its glory years, of course. I mean, that there, the gable end on the other side, and this side of it, leaning into the hillside, are all that really remains. I love the thought of this place still at work. You know, it's long gone. You know, there's not been any industry or manufacturing of wheels taken place in there for a very, very long time. And you know, oh bloody hell, when they were making wheels for carts, you know, etc., if you'd have told the people that worked in here that in a few decades' time there'd have been this new invention called the motor car, they'd have been like, what, a mechanical horse, what are you talking about? Don't be silly, my lad, wouldn't they? But you know, this day and age, we're surrounded by the bloody things, we don't even think about it anymore. But the men that worked in here doing the job every day, they wouldn't have had any of it. Fantastic, ain't it? A history that we can touch and feel that is still there. Not a lot left of it, but we've seen it on the map and it's still there. When the map was drawn, that place was still going for it. They were still making wheels in there. Amazing. Maybe the surveyors that surveyed that map in the 1880s came down here and had a look. Maybe they spoke to the bloke in there who was in charge of it. And now look, we're here. Anyway, we need to get his way down this precarious path. Well, it's not that precarious, he says, probably fall now, wouldn't I? But we'll get down here because this is where things get a bit more interesting in terms of mills. Right, so this is why we've brought the shovel weirs. Alrighty then, so I think this is the mill race, and it would have been an awkward place to build a mill. Like I say, the main coach road or path is literally just there, with the wheelwright's workshop just through there. Now to me, yeah, we've got that is an archway, isn't it? So yeah, you'd say so, wouldn't you? It's just, I'm a bit confused at the minute, because if that is the mill race, the entry for the mill with a wheel behind there somewhere, then the leap was quite high up. Now, of course, we've walked downhill a little bit since we visited the mill that was over there at the start of the video. Oh wow, look at that little robin. Hello, mate. Ain't the beautiful little birds, eh? And I bet you're thinking, what the bloody hell are you doing in there in my habitat, eh? You come to check it out, mate? Oh, wow. Well, what a moment. You're lovely, you are, aren't you? Hey? Hello. Hello. Is he still there? Oh no, he's gone. That was a lovely moment, weren't it? See, that's what happens when you come out and do this stuff. Anyway, I digress. I can't remember what I'm bloody saying now. So the mill race must have been quite high up then. It's all fallen away, if that's the case now. But we have come downhill on a bit of a gradient. Right, so we've not actually done a lot of digging for a little while. And, you know, there's a public footpath just up there, probably going to be quite heavily used at some point today. So I'm not going to be doing this for too long. I just want to dig a bit out and get the torch in there, to be honest with you. It has been filled in quite a lot. We do have a lot of stone that's fallen in. Probably be easier just moving the stone. Maybe I didn't actually need the shovel, but we'll have a little look. If anyone comes down here and hears me, I've already had one bloke think I was nuts anyway, so may as well have a few more, aren't we? Alrighty then, so basically what's happened here is I've had delusions of grandeur. It's not the first time that I've ever had that, but I come here the other week, 2 or 3 weeks ago with my other half for a nice walk down the River Bradford here, and I found this place and what we're looking at now, what we're trying to dig out. And I thought, yeah, I'll get up here with a shovel, you know, and I've had a good 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes of messing about, digging it out, and it's full of bloody big rocks and stones. There's a lot of loose soil. You know, if that had been the case, then we could have actually done a lot more here, but I haven't got the time because we're so far from home to do it. But let's show you this anyway. I know I'm mad and but it's you know, it's industrial archaeology, isn't it? At its finest. But there you go. As you can see, I've not got far in. There's that many. I don't know who I was trying to kid. I mean, I know I've lost weight in the recent year, but, you know, I'd need to be like Twigger, do you know what I'm saying, to get in there to shovel all this out, yeah. A very old stonework though. I've got a feeling, I'm not sure on dates when this was built, but I've got a feeling it's older than the bobbin mill. I mean, flour was one of the earliest things milled, weren't it, I suppose? You know, corn. So, there you go. I don't know who I was trying to kid really, to be honest with you, with that one, but well, we've had a little poke around, haven't we? I mean, you know, we haven't blanked, we have seen something. Oh, I don't know, I love it, I do love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. Hey, look, we've got a wayward dog. Oh, bloody hell, we've got a runner and all. What's a go on in? Right, right, this is looking promising-ish. Oh, dear. Oh, I think we might, yeah, we're in business. I think we are. Oh, bloody Nora. Oh, nettles between the legs, not a good place. Right. Right, so there we go. That indeed is the tail race with water still coming out of it, so very interesting. Right, how much of it can we see? If out. Not a lot. We really are clutching at the old straws today, aren't we? Won't be so bad if that moss weren't all hanging down, but that is it anyway. Look how clear this water is down here. Gin clear. I'll tell you what though, I'm a bit Hank Marvin now, do you know what I'm saying? I think we're going to have some scran, and then I better get them, ain't I? So I'm just about to end the video here, and whilst having a coffee as well, I've got a bull making its way down. It's very vocal. It's been shouting its head off up that hill there. Right, where's he gonna go? There's a dog walker keeps turning around looking. Ah, he's going down there, and he look. He's definitely a bull. He's got a right sack of onions on him, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's going to get a drink, isn't he? He's looking for his herd. There, oh bloody hell! It's all going off. Oh, he's coming this way now. I'm just going to get on with it. Right, well, unfortunately, that concludes today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. What a beautiful place. We've got the backdrop of Yulgrave behind us, the River Bradford just down here. Got a herd of cows just over this ridge. You've just seen that bull. Thankfully, he is tucked away just over this grassy hump here. Hopefully he won't come and disturb us. He was very vocal when I got to this part. I got all the dog walkers out of the way to end my video. Well, I didn't shoo them off or anything. Waited for them to go, and then he come down from up there. Anyway, what did you make of today's video? Oh, I'm looking forward to this brekkie. You know, I've got a chicken wrap here, made fresh this morning. Anyway, what did you make of it? All right, wasn't it, I thought? I mean, I'd got delusions of grandeur. I mean, that is because I've worked so hard with this shovel, doing all that digging that I've done this morning. No, I did about 10 or 15 minutes of it. You didn't see all of it because it weren't worth showing you all of it, but there were just that many rocks in there and what have you. It was just, I wouldn't have done it. I really did come up here with delusions of grandeur, to be honest with you, but I feel that what we have seen was interesting. I mean, you're in a beautiful area for a start, you know, and I had this conversation with my partner when I come up here with her a few weeks ago, because when I go to these places, you know when you have problems in life, you know when you have your problems and you're really cheesed off, and you're cheesed off about things a lot of the time that won't even matter tomorrow. And when I look at places like what we've seen today, old ruins, I look at them and I think to myself, you know, this place started off in someone's imagination once. They went to a desk and they drew it. They made a scale drawing of the building that they were constructing, or whatever it is, railway line or canal. And like fast forward 200 or more years, whatever their problems or dreams were don't even matter anymore, because they're forgotten people. No one even knows who they are unless their future family has done a family tree. I don't know, I just love it. I'm fascinated with what once was, especially in places like this. I mean, there's something otherworldly about the Peak District. This place, it just holds such a fascination, you know, with its beautiful villages. It's like down there, that little Packhorse Bridge down there. I mean, behind the camera, it's a really old coach road that went to both those mills where we've just been, along the River Bradford. This would have been heavily used once with industry. There's that much lead mining that's gone off here as well. I think there's a bit of a start of a lead mine just behind the camera over there in that edge. I've looked at it before. It don't go in very far. It's like they've found a bit of a seam and then not took it any further. It weren't worth exploring it. Anyway, we are yakking on. So nice that is. We are yakking on. I'm going to get this wrap down there. Then I'm going to make like a tree and leave. I'm going to get myself home. It's only 9 o'clock. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, well done. And me and this little shovel here we'll be seeing you very soon at the next one. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Bye.
And there he was gone. He was gone. He was. Nice one, Steve. Thank you very much for that. And well, as always, as we say, you know, another great nosy. Simple as that. Good. Now then, here we are on this Sunday evening, as Steve said. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Sunday evening. I thought he knows, you see, he knows, doesn't he? Just right. It's going to be time in a few moments' time to indeed get the answers to 6 of the best this evening. Interesting to see how people have done. That's what I'll be saying. And also, just a reminder that, of course, we'll be here for the next couple of Sundays up till Christmas and whatnot. And then our prize draw live here on the channel in Twixmas. Twixmas. That's what they call it, between Christmas and New Year, apparently. So there we go. Good. Okay, moving on then, we quickly go. And like I say, you can find more videos of Steve on Let's Explore on YouTube. Just search for it. There's loads more. And we've got a great backlog to catch up on now. So there'll be another nosy for you next week, round about at the same time. Okay, then I'm looking down my list here. Time to do 6 of the best. Are you ready? Now, just a minute. Wait, stop it. Before you start putting your answers in, wait till we're on the questioning. Don't give me the answer to question 5 when I'm only on question 2. Don't do that. Oh, I must just say hello to Mushroom Man. Hello. Are you all right? It's this time of year when Mushroom Man, he comes on and he has a HDPP mug and a marshmallow and a chocolate thing. We know it's Christmas when Mushroom Man comes on. So, nice that you just popped in to say hello. Good. Right. Answers to 6 of the best. Here we jolly well go. So, question 1. I want the answer to this one. What year did electricity come to? Yeah, they did. Yeah, look, the answers are coming in really quick tonight. It's interesting, actually, tonight, because normally I have to wait for a little while. I took some advice when when I was doing this. I asked my son, I said, any idea why the internet connection seems about a 20-second lag? And he told me a little setting. He said, alter that should do it. And lo and behold, it is. It's almost instant. Your responses are now pretty well in real time again. Daniel Coburn comes in with the correct answer. Dennis Perkins does. Jan does. Carol does. Annabelle does, which is a surprise. Anne does. Jeff Wallace does. And then Jennifer sadly gets it wrong for 1908, but Jane Brown comes in 1912. Carol, you're being naughty. You're giving me the answer in for the next one. We're not done it yet. So the correct answer was 1912 is the correct answer. Okay. So if you got 1912 for a lecker, quite right. Give yourself a point. Oh, John. Oh, no, Mr. Smuggler's fell at the first fence. He's gone for 1908. Anyway, now Jan's at it. You see, I haven't said anything. Behave. Now, I'm going to call your... Look, I've not... Look at this. They're giving me the answers, and I've not even got to it yet. You are naughty, you lot are. Okay, answer for this one then. For those that haven't yet sent it me, and those that did before I got to it, as usual, you naughty boys and girls. Yeah, what's the Beaufort scale for? And most of you are getting it right. Annabelle says for measuring the amount of stuffing in the Xmas dinner. No, it's not. Although you could say measuring the amount of wind produced by after eating a lot of Brussels at Christmas. You could have done that. It's for measuring wind speed. That's right. Quite right. Wind strength, wind speed. That's the Beaufort scale. Now then, we're on to question 3. Answers to question 3. What is this famous film? Everybody knows that. Well done, Carol Saccone. Yes, wind. Not that sort of wind, you understand. What is this famous film? I love it because, honestly, your answers are coming in really quick now, and you're quite correct. If you've got Bridge Over the River Kwai, you are right. Well done. Only Annabelle would get Home Alone out of all that, wouldn't she? She would only. So yes, it's Bridge Over the River Kwai, and it's on most weeks. It's on. It seems to be. So if you've got that, well done, John, Mr. Smuggley. Internet all over the place tonight. Oh, John, I don't know why. We'll all find this end. Okay, on to our next one. Guess the actor. Jennifer Richards gone straight in for it before he even got to it, but go on, I'll let you have that. Guess the actor. Is it a bird? Was it a plane? He played many roles, including a caged bird lover. This Hollywood legend career took off in 1948. And if you got all those subtle clues, Jennifer Richardson comes in with the correct answer. Dennis Perkins does. So does Jan Kirby, as does Jeff Wallace and Hunt. Well done. With the actor we were looking for, and Daniel Coburn got it right, Burt Lancaster. Well done, John Denny as well, just getting in there. Burt Lancaster. You see, was it a bird? Well, I'll explain that one. Was it a plane? See, a Lancaster plane. Is it a bird? Well, when he played the caged bird lover in the Birdman of Alcatraz, basically, and that's doing bird. Okay, yeah. Jane Brown's laughing. She said, I thought it was genuinely Superman. Well, this is what I thought. I thought some people will think it's Superman, but that adds to the fun, doesn't it? So well done. Jennifer Richardson, shall I just let you do it? She said it every time. Okay, true or false for our next question. Double negatives in a sentence create a positive meaning. Is that true or is it false? Jennifer says false. I'm just waiting to see everyone. False, says Daniel Coburn. True, says Annabelle. I think that's a stab. Dennis Perkins says true. Jan says false. John Dennis, true. Jeff Wallace, true. Carol Beasley, true. It is Spandau Ballet. Yes, it's true. Absolutely true. Double negatives. A standard English double negative often turn the sentence into a positive. You see, you're learning things every day. Bearing Moonlight's Polluters. Now, this has got a few of you going this evening. And I gave a couple of subtle clues, as you would have seen. I'm just waiting to see if anybody comes up. Oh, Kevin Beasley's come in with a late Burt Lancaster. Late on landing there, Kevin. Jane Brown says, I have no idea. Jane, you're going to discover all about this soon. Dennis Perkins, absolutely spot on with Billington Roughs, Elmsthorpe. And Jan Kirby's got Billington Pools, but I'll give you Roughs. I'll let you you'll have a point in that, yeah. Jennifer said, well, I couldn't get the anagram anyway. And Dave B said, never heard of that as a child in Hinckley. Well, I only learnt about it a few years ago, mate. Right, so we're looking for Billington Roughs, Elmsthorpe. If you want to know where Billington Roughs are, roughly speaking, if you go to Elmsthorpe Church on the crossroads, and if you go to the crossroads by Elmsthorpe Church, and you go down the road away from the church, heading in the Hinckley direction, the bottom of that lane is Billington Roughs, give and take a few feet. But just to give you a rough idea where we're talking. Okay, so that's Billington Roughs. I've also got a Rambler's Guide to Billington Roughs, which I published, years ago. Maybe I ought to post it again so you can see what it was all about. But we're looking for Billington Roughs. Okay then, it's now time to send in your scores, please. Send those scores in now, and we'll see who's got what, where, which, why, and how tonight. Let's just see. So total them up. Annabelle Mann, of course, Annabelle. She can't help it, you know. Yeah, she's got 20 out of 6, but she would. Jennifer says, I've got 3. Well done, Jennifer. Done really well. That's absolutely great. Daniel's having trouble with his predictive text tonight as well. Dennis Perkins claiming 6 of the best tonight. Well done, Dennis. I think, well, in that case, then we better give you some... Yeah, absolutely. So he's got 6 of the best. Jane's got 4 today. Well done, Jane. Queen Bee's got 4. Alan Cropp say, I like that. 3 for us. 3 for us. Okay, now he'll want paying next. Daniel says 4 for me. Kevin Beasley, 5 for me this evening. I can't do anagrams. It's a bit like Mr. Smuggley. I don't do actors. Jeff Wallace says 5, but never heard of Billington Roughs. You see, you're learning something every day here on HDPP. And Anne Hunt saying, Kevin, I'm with you. I can't do anagrams. There you go. Yeah, but well done. But John just said got 4 tonight, but no Google. You see, you get them extra smug. You get those extra warm smug points because you know you didn't use Google, which is great. But well done to everybody taking part in 6 of the best tonight. And as I say, we'll have another 6 of the best for you next week. Now, once again, heads up about the party on Wednesday night. Get there in plenty of time. 12 Days of Christmas. We've got a singer, Julie. She's going to give us some great Christmas songs and some of her favourites in a couple of sets. We're going to have a bit of Play Your Cards Right with my Dolly Dealer. So if you fancy having a go at Play Your Cards Right, we'll be doing that live on the stage as well, and a lot of other fun besides. It's going to be a great night. You lot deserve a bit of a tarty. And so people say to me, Paul, why do you always say tarty? Well, just before I let you go, I'll tell you the very true story. Many years ago at the Concordia Theatre, and we were doing the pantomime called Cinderella, and the young lad actually, who's very famous now, he was. I'm not going to mention names. It's not very professional. But anyway, he was using a ventriloquist doll in this pantomime, and part of it involved him where he had to come on stage with the ventriloquist doll and say a few words, blah blah blah. But he couldn't say party. He could never do it, and he always went tarty. not party. And you try say it, it's very difficult to do. So this became like a little in joke. And from then on in, every time we mention the word party, we always call it a tarty. And it's just one of those silly things I still do even now. Anyway, listen. Right, okay. Kevin Beasley, videos all over the place. Internet not matching live chat. Say what you will. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back next week at the same time, do it all again. But first and foremost, looking forward to seeing you at the party on Wednesday night. I hope you can join us. And until then, keep it HDPP, keep it live, and I'll see you then. See you Wednesday. Bye. Oh, hello, I'm back. I know you can't get rid of me that easy. Just very, very quickly, because we won't be doing dad jokes on the night. But I thought tonight, let's just give you a couple of dad jokes to round off your weekend. And we start with this one, which I think I quite like actually. I love these. I failed my driving test today. The instructor asked me, "What do you do at a red light?" I said, "I usually check my emails and see what other people are up to on Facebook." Why do vampires hoard stocks? Because they're terrified of stakeholders. Yes, I like it. So, as we move on, a little boy came running up to me and said, please help, my dad's in a fight." I followed him and I came across two men fighting, so I asked him, "Which one's your dad?" And he replied, "I don't know, that's what they're fighting about." And finally, what kind of lights did Noah use on his ark? Easy. Floodlights. Take care. We'll see you soon. Good night.